Queers for Palestine, marching for your own execution. Queers for Palestine, and just let that title sit in your ears for a second. A group of LGBTQ activists, safe in Britain, where rainbow flags are practically woven into every corporate logo for Pride Month, taking to the streets to wave the flag of a regime that would happily murder them. That isn't activism, that's suicide with extra steps. Let's start with the hard facts. In the Gaza Strip, which has been run by Hamas since 2007, homosexuality is illegal. Under Hamas's application of Sharia law, same-sex relations can mean imprisonment, torture, and even execution. Reports from Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and the Palestinian Human Rights Monitoring Group have documented cases where men suspected of being gay were executed, sometimes literally hurled from rooftops before crowds of jeering onlookers. Hamas officials have publicly stated that homosexuality is a moral disease and a Western corruption that must be purged. Not my words, theirs. The West Bank, run by the Palestinian Authority, it's a little murkier but no safer. Homosexuality isn't explicitly criminalized by statute, but LGBTQ people face persecution from the authorities and violent reprisals from their own families. Palestinian police have been caught blackmailing gay men, threatening to out them to relatives unless they hand over money or inform on friends, and because of so-called honor culture, many gay Palestinians live in hiding, terrified of being murdered by their own relatives to restore family honor. Now let's zoom out. Across the broader Arab world, where do Palestinian LGBTQ people actually flee to? Israel. That so-called apartheid state activists scream about at rallies is the only place in the region where being gay isn't a death sentence. Tel Aviv is one of the gay capitals of the world. Israel has equal marriage recognition, adoption rights, military service rights, anti-discrimination protections. Meanwhile in Gaza, your gay rights are the height you fall from when Hamas pushes you off a tower block. So the sight of British queers marching for Palestine is not just ironic, it's grotesque. They're shouting slogans for a system that would literally liquidate them. It's like forming Jews for Hitler or women for Taliban. It's solidarity cosplay, safe in the West, divorced from the realities on the ground. And let's not pretend this is unknown. In 2016, Hamas spokesman Mahmoud Zahar went on record, "You do not live in Palestine as a homosexual. This is a crime." In 2017, multiple gay men were executed in Gaza, their bodies paraded as a warning. In 2019, LGBTQ activists in the West Bank tried to hold a small gathering in Nablus. The Palestinian Authority's police banned it outright, threatening arrests. Their justification? That LGBTQ activism is a poison imported from the West. Victims? There are many, though their names rarely make Western headlines. A young man named Ahmed, interviewed anonymously by BBC Arabic, described being tortured by Hamas after being suspected of homosexuality. He said, "They blindfolded me, tied me to a chair, and beat me for hours. They told me I had shamed Islam and deserved to die." Others have been outed and murdered by their own families. In 2011, reports surfaced of a 21-year-old gay man from Hebron who fled to Israel because his family threatened to kill him. His words, "If I go home, I will be dead within a week." Meanwhile, what are British queers doing? Marching through London, Brighton, Manchester with placards declaring, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," chanting for the liberation of a land where, if they actually lived there, they wouldn't survive to see the end of the march. They're not freedom fighters, they're useful idiots. And the hypocrisy is suffocating. These are the same activists who scream about safe spaces in Britain, who melt down if a university speaker challenges their ideology, who treat pronoun slip-ups as violence, yet they'll wave the flag of a political order that would gladly cut their throats in public. How's that for cognitive dissonance? Ask these activists why they're not marching for queer Iranians being executed by the dozens, why they're not screaming for Saudi queers jailed and flogged, why they're not demanding protections for Palestinian queers who beg Israel for asylum. You'll get silence, because none of that is fashionable, none of that fits the Instagram aesthetic. Palestine, though, Palestine is trendy. Palestine is intersectional. Palestine makes you look radical on TikTok. And so truth and survival get sacrificed at the altar of aesthetic activism. Let's call it what it is. Queers for Palestine is identity suicide. It's parading your sexuality in the service of people who see your sexuality as filth. You're not fighting oppression. You're volunteering for your own erasure. And don't get it twisted. Hamas isn't hiding their views. Their founding charter describes homosexuality as a deviation and corruption. Their clerics preach openly that gays must be killed. Even the Palestinian Authority, painted as moderate, has been caught arresting and torturing gay men. In 2020, Al-Cause, an LGBTQ Palestinian group, tried to organize. They were harassed, threatened, and shut down. These are not isolated incidents, they are the norm. So when Western queers chant, "From the river to the sea," what they're really saying is, "From the river to the sea, there will be no place for me." Let's put this in terms simple enough even for these protesters. If you waved your rainbow flag in Gaza, you'd be arrested. If you kissed your partner in Ramallah, you'd be beaten. If you organized pride in the West Bank, you'd be shut down. If you came out to your family, you might be killed. That's the reality. Meanwhile, in Israel, you can march in pride with 200,000 others in Tel Aviv, marry your partner, adopt children, serve in the army, run for parliament. It's not perfect, but compared to Gaza, it's the difference between life and death. And yet, queers in Britain don't wave the Israeli flag in solidarity with their queer siblings living openly and freely. No, they wave the flag of their potential executioners. Why? Because it's not about truth, it's about theatre. It's about the dopamine hit of being seen as radical, edgy, intersectional. It's the politics of performance, not the politics of survival, and it is suicidal. So let's lay it down plainly. If you call yourself Queers for Palestine, you are either deluded, ignorant, or so addicted to victimhood cosplay that you'll march for your own killers. You're not allies, you're not revolutionaries, you're the punchline to the world's darkest joke. History won't remember you as brave, it'll remember you as the queers who waved the flag of their own executioners. And that, my friends, is not solidarity, that's lunacy dressed up as liberation.